just looking. I wanted to ask a quick question. That's probably not. It's something that I personally wanted to know. That maybe it doesn't matter to the long term of the system, but who set the ratio on this at $90,000 a token?
So when you look,
the question we've all been wanting answered to.
Yeah.
there was, if you look and you pull up like the buys and sells, the pool was created, and then a couple of bots went bink, 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 and just moved it like it's like 80 cents or $4 or something that moved around, but it shoots the chart all around. And then the LP came in at a relatively reasonable spot. And then you see the actual price takeover. So that wick is almost like a sandwich attack. There's no funds actually moved. It's just a giant red eraser mark on the beginning of it.
I'll touch on it. I'll touch on it. It was literally just $2,000 traded here that pushed the price down 100%. But I only ask because I wondered if it was intentional or not to set that. Because setting that ratio in the beginning, you could have had the reverse too, where you started it at down here and like near zero, and then had a green too. Not that it matters one way or the other in the long term of it. I was just curious.
Right.
I was on the cruise and I was watching that launch, and I'm just like, I wonder who set the ratio, and if they did that on purpose for in terms of the indicators. What it does is it starts the indicators low. So like RSI started super low, so it's like going to build up from here, which could be it depends on what there's different reasons to do different things. I didn't know if it was a mistake or not, or intentional, and I just was wanted to know like kind of some inside scoop on why the ratio was set so high. But sounds like it was just a coincidental thing, and no one lost real money there. Like there was like total of $5,000 traded in an 8-hour period on those two candles, so nothing too crazy happened.
And if you break it down, it's even like the actual length of that candle. If you go to like a 15-minute chart, there's like no value. That's actually the majority of that, and then it all tightens back up.
Let's see if it loads. Yeah, so the liquidity came in right here on this candle, and price was around 3 zeros and a 1.
Yep.
So next thought that comes to mind is, so there's going to be 5 trillion of these things, loan tokens, and there's about 10 or 11 trillion Pulse supply. So just based on the numbers of total supply, 10 or 11 trillion user supply of Pulse. Theoretically, then loan, if all things remained equal, loan could just be twice the price of whatever Pulse is.
And so the loan is one, and this is where we're going to put out like the kind of official token on. You can go look any of it up now, so there's no secret. But the official way we want to go through and like add some good context to it. So one is the stability pool holds like 45% of that, but it's minted, right? So everything's already minted. So you got to be kind of careful where it's like, oh, it's not inflationary. Okay, that's technically true, but it is inflationary on as far as the market, right? To any person who's asking the question, the answer is yes, right? So you got to kind of go through, and that's why we're going to kind of write up a little paper where it's in simple English, but a couple of things where, is it inflationary? No. But when you ask, the answer is yes, right? Like colloquially, the answer would be, yeah, it inflates. So you want to look through those things. So we're going to write it up in a nice, clean way. Again, it's not no individual part anyone doesn't already kind of know, but put it all in one spot. But again, all that's minted. So that 5.5 is already there, but it's locked up in the contracts for a length of time. Mm-hmm. Team stuff is vested. The stability pool basically halves. So it's decades out before the majority, before that stuff starts to hit. The LP rewards is already minted, people's delayed gratification. So similar to, I think, some of the stuff we were kind of used to with Hex, the what's on market, what's it actually doing, I think will be much more interesting with loan than the majority of tokens, because actual supply and where it's at, when it's coming out, these things, there's more gamesmanship than just what we see there. But yeah, I would say there's a lot of opportunity, especially when you look at ranges of time.
There was folks that so if you've been in liquid loans for a while, you've all heard of some of these different strategies, like the hod pill strategy, or like the haunted strategy, and some of the guys that are behind the haunted token, Dave, the mathematician, we had him on not too long ago on my channel. He was convinced that because of the hyperinflationary nature of loan at this period, that loan was going to go see like a 90% or 80 or 90% decrease from here, and I wouldn't. I mean, because it's already at like a ratio of 1 to 4 against Pulse, like I wouldn't be surprised to see it not do that at all. Actually, I would be surprised if people didn't start to utilize some of these arbitrage opportunities just to simply start capturing some of the supply of this loan token while it's still even more scarce relative to the the long-term unlocks, right? As the supply really expands down the pipe.
Well, and the yield, like the yield that we're seeing now, like that is very, again, one, you're going to get all these redemption valuations, right? So you'll likely see, again, some of those spike events that play in. But again, that stuff's relative to the price of PLS. So again, kind of one of those things we talked about earlier. If you want exposure in an interesting way to PLS, there could be a more speculative nature on loan that you could say, hey, I don't think this thing is going to do 90. I think it's going to do X. But there's also that PLS, the higher it goes, you're going to see higher loans and more valuation and higher yield. So again, I don't make any forward-facing stuff, especially on something that I'm going to be a part of. But there's, again, interesting ways to get exposure. And again, that yield, again, look at the charts of any of these things. Do you think we're going to have less users? Do you think Pulse is going to go lower? Do you think we're going to have less bullishness? Do you think we're going to get farther away from the halving?
No,
like,
TVL's
tell me what you think is negative, and I'll tell you where I think the yield's going.
All these charts are currently printing up into the right. And so, I mean, take that for what you will. I pretty excited for liquid loans. More excited now that it's launched 100%. Than I've ever been.
Yeah. Same here.